The judge looked at me and asked if I understood the divorce settlement. I smiled, nodded, and quietly said, "Yes, Your Honor." My ex-husband grinned from across the courtroom, convinced he'd won. He got the house, the luxury cars, our joint savings, and even the company we'd built together. His new girlfriend was sitting in the back row, already celebrating. My friends couldn't understand why I wasn't fighting harder. They thought I had given up. They thought I was broken. What nobody knew was that I had spent the last 18 months preparing for this exact moment. I had one secret that would change everything. And by the time my ex-husband realized what it was, his perfect victory would become the biggest mistake of his life. My name is Rachel. I'm 35 years old and I live in Atlanta, Georgia. For 12 years, I believed I had the perfect marriage. My husband, Jason, was charming, ambitious, and knew exactly how to impress everyone around him. While he became the public face of our business, I handled the finances, negotiated contracts, and quietly kept everything running behind the scenes. People praised him as a brilliant entrepreneur, never realizing how much of our success came from the work I did after everyone else had gone home. Everything changed when I discovered he had been having an affair with one of our company's marketing managers. When I confronted him, he didn't apologize. Instead, he calmly told me he had outgrown our marriage and wanted a divorce. Within weeks, he hired an aggressive legal team and painted me as an emotional spouse who had contributed very little to the business. Watching him rewrite our history hurt more than the betrayal itself. During the divorce process, Jason pushed hard to keep the company. His attorney argued that because he was the CEO and public face of the brand, removing him would damage the business. Rather than dragging the case through years of expensive litigation, I agreed to let him keep it. Even my own lawyer looked surprised when I accepted the settlement without a fight. What Jason didn't know was that 2 years earlier, I had started noticing unusual financial decisions and growing debt inside the company. Quietly, I began building my own consulting firm on weekends, using my professional reputation, not the company's client list, to develop relationships with businesses that trusted me personally. I never violated my contracts or took confidential information. I simply earned people's confidence through years of honest work. The divorce was finalized in June. By August, Jason officially owned the company, along with all its debts, shrinking profits, and expensive obligations he had never bothered to understand. For the first time, he was responsible for every financial decision I had been quietly managing for years. Meanwhile, my consulting business began growing faster than I had imagined. Former clients reached out on their own after hearing I had left. They weren't following me because of revenge or loyalty. They chose to work with someone they trusted. Within a year, my new firm had become profitable, while Jason struggled to keep his company afloat under rising costs and poor leadership. Then the truth surfaced. An independent audit requested by Jason's investors revealed years of reckless spending that had happened after I stepped away from daily operations. Several major contracts were lost because he ignored experienced employees and chased flashy projects that never delivered results. Investors removed him as CEO, and the board brought in new management to save what remained of the business. A few months later, Jason asked to meet me. He admitted he had spent years taking credit for work he barely understood. He confessed that he believed success came from his personality, never realizing how much depended on the discipline and planning happening behind the scenes. I listened quietly before wishing him well. I didn't need his apology to heal. As I drove home that evening, I realized my greatest secret had never been hidden bank accounts, secret investments, or some dramatic plan for revenge. My secret was much simpler. I had always been the real foundation, beneath everything we built. When Jason took the house, the cars, and the company, he thought he had taken my future. What he actually took were expensive responsibilities he didn't know how to carry. I walked away with the one thing he could never win in court: my knowledge, my integrity, and my ability to build again. In the end, he took everything he thought had value. I kept everything that actually mattered. vidIQ.